So here is the Tuesday tool tip, or tool tip Tuesday. So it's not about butt splicing your wires, but we'll go ahead and cover that, but it's about waterproofing or sealing your connection afterwards, and I'll show you what to do there. So first, my favorite butt splice is to actually, separate these wires and then kind of do a reverse twist. Don't push them all the way together, but nearly together, and then just kind of do a reverse twist here. Sometimes if you're in a tight area, it's tough to get that full twist in there, so you may just have to push them together, do the best you can. I'll go ahead and use my wonderful third hand here. And also make sure you go ahead and put on your heat shrink before you butt splice that, because then if that's in a wiring harness or something, you're not going to be able to get back to it to put that on there. So let's heat up our soldering iron. Give that a second. I should already had that heated up. So we're going to heat that up. I'm going to put a little bit of flux. I like using flux right here on the connection. And a couple of other little tips here. Ooh, this looks pretty good. Is number one, you don't want to over solder this. When you're doing a butt splice like this, a butt joint, you don't want to overdo this. You really want to daub a solder in the middle, and you still want some flexibility in that wire left. And so too much, if you're running that solder all the way out underneath that insulation, that's really giving you a real big stiff point. So if there's any flex that needs to be in those wires, that's not going to be a good thing. So you'll see here, you get this wire heated up. Once it takes some solder, let it take a little, I'm done. That's all I want. Like I said, I don't want it flowing all the way underneath that insulation. So I'm going to let that dry a second, or let that cool off a second. And then I've got some dielectric grease. You can see this is an old, it was kind of like an aerosol that you pulled the trigger and it squirted out, but you can see there was plenty of grease still left in there. So just got me a little acid brush in there. And so now I'm going to take a little dielectric grease and I'm going to put on this. Now, you can buy heat shrink, marine heat shrink. I love using marine heat shrink because it's got the adhesive built in it. So you can buy the heat shrink with it already in it. But if you don't have it, you can use the old cheap heat shrink and get you some dielectric grease like this and put it on there. And now when we slide that heat shrink over, you can see here, we'll slide that over there. A few hairs off my brush there. And now as we heat that up, and I'd usually use a heat gun, but I kind of want to show you the heating process. So we'll just use a little flame here. We'll start in the center and work out, and we'll see it squirt out the ends. So now we know that we've got this sealed up. We not only have that spliced together, and we have a good solder connection here that's not going to come apart, but we've also sealed that. Didn't get as much coming out here, but there is a little bit there. But now we've got that dielectric grease in there. If you're doing splices, wire splices on boat trailers, you need to be doing this on every connection. Now, if you're doing this inside a cab of a car, okay, you can probably get away with just heat shrink. But again, it's not going to hurt if you use this dielectric grease in there to seal these. Or, like I said, use like marine heat shrink that's got the adhesive built in it. But this will always work. Really simple trick. It keeps your connections nice and sealed. You can just wipe this away when you're done with it. So there you have it. There's your Tool Tip Tuesday. It is Tuesday, winding down, but Tool Tip Tuesday. So it's time for a tool tip. And this is an oldie, very old. You may have seen this before in various forms, but it's a trick and a tip that I use all the time. I also share this all the time because I see people all the time. They've got a bolt in their socket. They're trying to fish it down, let's say near an intake or something like that, and that bolt just keeps falling out of that socket and they're driving themselves crazy. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I see it all the time. And so I'm just going to tear a piece of paper towel off here, and I can either stick it in the socket or just hold it between the, when you got two hands to do this, it makes it real easy. But anyway, so I can stuff that paper towel in there right there so it takes up that space between that bolt or that nut and that socket. And so now I can get down in there, start that bolt, tighten it up, pull it out, and most of the time that paper towel will come out with that socket, doesn't even stay there on the bolt. But if it does, not a big deal. It's just a piece of paper towel. Also, it works fine. Plastic baggie, anything like that. I've seen rubber bands used, or like this, like I said, just a plastic baggie. So the same thing. So then I can start that bolt. So anything like that that'll take up that space between that bolt head or that nut and that socket is going to work for you. That's your tool tip for Tuesday. So today's Tuesday tool tip is on wiring, spark plug wires specifically, but this could really apply to any wire loom. So let's say you got yourself a brand new set of conventional plug wires. So you got these nice Axel plug wires. They add horsepower for sure. Or Moroso plug wires, something like that. But you got some nice new plug wires, but you cheaped out and didn't get any organizer. So you don't have any kind of wire loom separator or anything like that. So what do? Well, you grab yourself about a quarter's worth of zip ties. In this case, we got 4 wires. We need 3 little zip ties, 1 big zip tie or medium-sized zip tie. We're going to go ahead and wrap all 4 of these, so all of them in the big one here. And I'm going to close this down, I don't know, not quite snug. You're going to leave yourself kind of a gap in that. See where it's still kind of loose, and I can flop that around. And then I'm going to put that kind of in the middle, at least not on the edge. So I'm going to put the head of that zip tie somewhere in the middle. And then I'm going to take a little zip tie, and I'm going to put it right here between that first and second wire. And then cinch that down about 80% as well, let's say. And I'm going to go to the next gap and take another zip tie. And I'm going to go around the big zip tie just like we did on the other one. And again, I'm going to pull that down about 80%. And now, you guessed it, take the last one, go between the last set of plug wires, and go all the way around that zip tie. And again, going to pull that down about 80%. So now we've got these things, all the zip ties in place. I'm going to go ahead and pull these down a little tighter, these ones in between. Not tight yet, but just snugging that up a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and cinch down this one here. So pull that one pretty tight, pull the big one pretty tight, but don't, pull your little zip ties away. So I've got that one pretty tight. Now I'm going to really cinch down these small ones, kind of as tight as they can go, if you will. So now we're done. I'm going to go ahead and clip these off, nice and flush. And so now you see that, but look on the other side here. Look at that. So now you've got a nice separation of these wires. They're nice and tight. They're not going anywhere. They're not going to flop around. That's holding that very well. So going to hold you in time to save you some money to get some really nice ones. Or, like I said, that look underneath the hood is not going to be that bad. And like I said, you can use these on any types of wiring if you want to. So there you have it. There's your Tuesday tool tip. And remember, we release a tool tip every Tuesday on social media, so follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. If you don't mind, hit that like and subscribe button and click the bell notification to be notified of future videos.